And as always, your views and comments are welcome here on the show. Look for Joy News on Facebook. Drop your comments. If you are on Twitter, it's easy. Look for us at Joy News on TV and drop your comment. My handle is on the screens right now at Francis_Aban. Share your thoughts with us on the show. We'll be glad to share your thoughts with the rest of the world. And we can start off today with a lot of politics because some small opposition political parties are heading to court to contest the interpretation of the Constitution, which states that all parties must have offices in 2/3 of the country. Now, this follows the directive by the Electoral Commission that all political parties must have their party offices in 75% of the country by the 31st of May or risk being banned from participating in elections. Now, this has infuriated most of these small parties who have criticized the EC, saying this is an arbitrary decision and they deem it unlawful. The first to lead the charge today is the flag bearer of the NDP, Nana Konadu Agyemang Rawlings. Speaking at a workshop organized by the Institute for Democratic Governance, IDEG, Mrs. Rawlings took a dig at the EC boss, Charlotte Osei, for making arbitrary decisions and says she will contest it.
But we didn't have offices in every corner that we had the movement. And we didn't have offices in every district. We had offices in all the regions, but not in the district. Even in the regions, some of them, sometimes they would have an office, sometimes they close the office because they're busy in the field. So I totally agree with Dr. Jonah that we should discuss this seriously and get back to the EC, because I saw her on TV saying, I'm following the law, I don't care what anybody says. And you can't talk like that to a whole country. It's not wrong, it's not right, it's wrong. So I think that it's the work you do on the ground, not the offices that you show off with. So whether you have all the offices or points of meetings or something, I think we should discuss it fully, and then we take a suggestion which should be sent to her, because we are all being threatened, as Dr. Deli said. Everybody is being threatened that if by 31st May you don't have all your offices, she's going to make sure that you are banned. She's just a member of the commission, not the commission on its own.
Well, later in an interview with Joy News, the NDP flag bearer indicated that dialogue must guide the conduct of the EC in this year's elections rather than the tough-talking decisions.
Talking about areas of meetings, areas of convergence, it doesn't say strictly that you should have an office in every constituency or every district or 2/3 of the districts, but that you should show a presence. And so what we are discussing here is the fact that for the Electoral Commission to write to parties that by the 31st of May, if you don't have your 2/3 of your offices, she's going to ban you. Offices in the 2/3 of the districts in Ghana, you're going to be banned as a political party. I think that it is unacceptable. It is, in this day of virtual offices, unappreciated, and it cannot be accepted in any way or any form. Because I was given my example of having the 31st December Women's Movement, which was a movement that had over 2 million members. Everybody had a card, and we were getting more membership in those days. But we didn't have an office in every district. We didn't have an office in every corner where the movement was. We did have offices in the regions, but even in the regions, they were usually just areas where they could keep their documents and so on. So are we saying that in this modern day where people can actually have virtual offices, as was suggested by one of the speakers, we are not moving from the position that you can have an organization without a landed property that you call an office? Is that what we're saying? So I think that is the feeling of most of the people in the room today, that the law as it stands or is going to be implemented by the Electoral Commission is unacceptable. It is undemocratic. It does not live up to the modern times that we are in. There are people who may not even go beyond having everything on social media, and that's where they're going to do their campaign. Are you saying they should have human beings standing there at a rally before they can talk to them? So she has to change her mentality and stop throwing all of us out and saying, if you have a problem, go to court. I do not think that it should even go that far. I think that if we together with the group that has called us here for the discussion, make a submission to the Electoral Commission, it should listen, because they are not working in a vacuum. They are working for human beings and for the people of Ghana.
So that's the NDP flag bearer, Nana Akunyado Agyeman Rawlings, leading that charge, saying that the decision by the Electoral Commission, in her view, should not be put in that way. And in fact, this is a view shared by the national chairman of the UFP, Nana Ajeni Boateng, who explained that the EC must allow them set up offices they can afford.
The EC gave us a notice last year, October. We do not rest on the notice they gave. So as I talk to you, United Front Party, we has fulfilled it. So we have it all over the country, and especially the 2 tests. We have even have more than the 2 tests. As I talk to you now, because sometimes it's not easy. It's not easy. Ever since we commenced acquiring the offices, painting, finishing it, it wasn't an easy task. But we have been able to fulfill the Electoral Commission requirement.
So that's for the UFP there. But the governance think tank IDEC have also appealed to the EC in all of this to, at a matter of urgency, meet these small political parties to resolve the matter before it becomes a long-drawn legal battle. Senior research fellow at IDEC, Dr. Kwesi Jonah, explained why to Joy News' Dorcas Boadu.
I have said that, first of all, it is not a very, very good step to take in an election year, because you cannot abolish the small parties without any challenge in court. Some of them will go to court. And when they do go to court, the EC will be distracted. The body that is organizing the election will also be moving in and out of court, trying to defend an action. So if I had my way, I would advise the EC, hold on. Whatever letters that you have sent to the parties, let us withdraw them, or let us suspend until after the election. Then we can together discuss the best way forward.
So that's the position of IDEG articulated by the senior research fellow, Dr. Kwesi Jonah. So we're just looking to see what happens in the coming days, especially for the Electoral Commission and the concerns that are being raised by these political parties, the UFP, the NDP. We know there are other parties who also made it to this workshop, and we're raising similar concerns that maybe, just maybe, the EC should allow them go to the Supreme Court and have a proper interpretation of this. Because in their argument, having physical buildings does not necessarily mean you have presence in these areas. We'll see what happens and what the response of the EC will be to this matter. We'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll still stay with the Electoral Commission because they have been raising some other concerns to do with the discussion that was done in Parliament yesterday as regards the amendments of that date from either November 7 to December 7. We'll get clarity on that from the EC after the break. Stay with us.